out really fast, pissed, and we get in the car. And I get my tissues ready to blow my nose. And he's like, you fucking did that on purpose, didn't you? You took for fucking ever just to walk to the fucking store. You wanted those people to stare at your ass. You wanted those guys to just stare at your fucking ass, didn't you? And I looked at him. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, you really thought I wanted them to stare at my body? And he's like, that's why you wear dresses all the time. That's why you wear those long dresses. That's why you wear short dresses. You want everybody to see your fucking ass. You want ass to hang out. You want it to move around. So I stopped skipping. I stopped walking fast. I stopped trusting people, even though I didn't trust very many people in the first place. I stopped talking to my friends for the most part, and when I would go over there, it'd be a lot of crying and hiding and being so terrified of a text or a call from him, and scared to go home to the apartment, and scared to go in because what if he killed himself? What if there's a knife? What if there'd be I was scared if his car was there. I was scared of him even walking through the door. He kicked his dog one night. This is one of the final straws. He kicked him so hard I thought he broke his ribs, and I said, if you do that again, I'm going to call the Humane Society and I'm going to take him myself. And he stopped. I never saw him hit his dog after that ever again, but like, that was months of watching it, not knowing what to do, not knowing if it was my place, seeing him getting hurt and just feeling empty, stupid, helpless. That dog's helpless, but then he could bite him, right? He could claw him if it really hurt that bad. But then I forgot the nature of a dog, because I feel like I became one. Like, caged, stuck. Even when the cage door has been open the whole time, I stayed in the cage. I remember I was so tired and sleep deprived that he would stay up watching video games or playing them and playing them loud or playing loud music or leaving lights on. I'd have to close the bedroom door. I'd have to put in headphones or something or hide my head under the pillow, and he'd still play it loud, and I can't sleep. It'd be my fault. Even though I was working 2 or 3 jobs, I had to get up early. I worked at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and it'd still be my fault. I tried to get him help. I tried to get him counselors. I did everything I thought was right, and it still fell. Like, it was just a mess. It was awful. I would sneak out and try to sleep in my car, come home, come to the apartment, and not want to even go inside. And I would sleep in my car, and I would get a on the window. What are you fucking doing in your car? You're gonna fucking get raped. I remember him telling me if you ever got raped, I would never be able to date you again. He implied that I would, like anyone he ever dated, not even just me, that he would have this secret fear of them enjoying being raped, because he's always scared of that happening. And he would never date someone who got raped. He couldn't look at them the same. He couldn't be with them. I just heard that, and that was another red flag. There's millions of them in the story. But I felt like I was already in it. So even we started the lease in August, and by December I was so depressed that I just couldn't stop crying one night. And he walked in and yelled at me, "What are you crying for? You have nothing to be sad over. What the fuck's wrong with you?" And I couldn't stop crying, so then I started a journal. That starts the road to recovery, but we'll get to that. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to have a sense of independence for myself. I went to yoga. And well, I didn't like go to yoga. I did yoga by myself a few times that I was there and he wasn't. That helped, but like before that, I tried to feel some sort of strength or something. So I went with my friends to a nightclub called Necto in Ann Arbor. All my friends are gay or lesbians, so I didn't think anything of it. And it was gay night, so I didn't have to worry about me dancing with guys. I don't anyway, but so we're there, have an okay time, and then we drive back and the car gets messed up. Something about transmission, radiator fluid, I don't know. All I know is it was smoking, I was driving, and I see smoke coming out of the car. I'm going to pull to the side of the road and it wouldn't accelerate. So we had to wait for the tow truck, and I told him, we're by the side of the road, I'm waiting on this tow truck, and he says, that's your own fault. And not are you okay? Can I get you? I'm in the middle of Michigan. We live in Ohio. Whatever. So I let my phone die. I don't have a charger. I get back about 5, 6 a.m. I'm terrified to walk in the door. He's laying on the couch asleep, curled up, dog's asleep on the couch like it's not supposed to be. And I'm I don't care. I'm happy he's asleep. I'm happy he's away from me. I go and lay down in the bed and pass out. I wake up to him this close to my face. And I heard shouting before, but what really woke me up was him right here shouting at me. Saying, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why didn't you wake me up? What the fuck? You know I was worried. You shouldn't have even fucking on in the first place. It's your own fucking fault. And I was terrified. And all I could do was cry and shout back. And I wanted to leave, and he kept getting up and getting in the way, and I was trapped. And I remember thinking, what have I gotten into? I don't know how to get out. So that was fun. That was a shitty day that I tell everyone about. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm pretty sure I've suppressed, but those are the big ones. Being yelled at for being at my friend's for over an hour after he was home, even though I worked 3 jobs, never saw them. But if I see them once a week, it's all hell breaks loose. Once a week. Every 2 weeks. They didn't even feel invited over there because of him. He kept telling me, your friends hate me. And they didn't hate him. But they began to. He punched a hole in the bathroom wall, or the bathroom door. And then he didn't even tell the landlord that he really did it. He told them that we had a party. And that looks really irresponsible. He punched a basket I had and put a dent in it. He punched the couch. You know what's funny? All these things weren't the final straw, though. The final straw was one day I knew what helped me. I had gone through a crazy mom who was a hoarder, who was abusive. Once she cut me with scissors and with a steak knife and with her finger across my neck. She bit me because I took a guy to the prom after giving me much, much grief about going to the prom alone. She bit me because, one, she was already mad at me for taking a guy who was a quarter Mexican to the prom. But she really bit me because I asked her not to call the cops, and I took the phone and I said, Mom, don't call the cops. It's 4 a.m. What are you going to tell them? I went to prom with a guy who was a quarter Mexican, and she bit me on the arm and made me bleed, and I had a huge bruise that big. And I told the people at school the next day, and a month later I moved out onto my own, into an apartment on my own, begging the apartment people to please let me move in because my mom's crazy, and I showed them the bruise. And then I lived in a house, and then I lived in this apartment with this guy, and I thought it'd be great, and I just went from painful situation to painful situation. And, I had a son with a guy who left before I even had my first doctor's appointment. And I had to figure out if I was going to put him in an open adoption or not. And I got all these godlike signs to do it, and everything fell into place, and everyone told me I wouldn't be able to do it, and I did. I raised him for 3 months and put him in an open adoption where I can see him, and he's going to be 4 soon. But I was still hurting, and I guess that's why I got in this relationship. I thought I could fix someone, like I needed to fix me. So after being in that relationship, I saw myself needing to be fixed. So from December on, I had a New Year's resolution to do a journal every day and do yoga every day, do meditation every day, try new things, and try to repair myself. So my first boyfriend actually introduced me to the mirror and said, like when I was maybe 19, said, look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. And I couldn't do it, and I was crying. And somewhere along the lines, a few years later, when I was with this awful guy, I connected those dots, and I realized that I couldn't do it because I didn't love myself. So I started doing those mirror exercises. And I saw myself getting a little better, feeling less tired. So I thought I can help him. So I grabbed a mirror and I said, will you do me a favor? And he said, what? And I was like, look in this mirror and just tell yourself you love yourself. And for the next hour, he refused. And he walked around the apartment, which was not big at all, back and forth, saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. I said, just once, just 2 minutes, just try, please, just once, will you ever? And he refused to try. And I was really hungry, and we didn't have a lot of food, and even when we had food, he wouldn't even try to make anything or put a meal together. It was always on me to make the food and even if I asked him to make food, he would complain, and then the dishes wouldn't get done, and it was all a mess. So I was eating, long food story short anyway, I was eating chocolates that my mom had given me as breakfast. Don't ask. I know it's bad nutrition. This whole situation is bad. So I was eating those, and I remember just asking him, and finally when he just took the cushion, the whole couch cushion, and beat me with it, like, sent the chocolates flying across the room, and I couldn't handle it. I was literally trying to help him, like, the best way I knew how. And he hit me with a couch cushion, but still, and I lost it, and I started hyperventilating. I've never hyperventilated in my life. I didn't know what was happening. So I was like, I just couldn't stop. So I just tried to stop myself, and I couldn't stop, and that was it. Like, I knew I needed to leave. There's nothing I can do here. So I started making my escape. I started planning how I wanted my room, where I was going to live, what I was going to do. I had this whole plan. The lease was up September 1st. And I was trying to clean everything off, get rid of any dog pee, anything they could pin up so I could get out. And I did it. I got out. I'm still alive. I've talked to him one time through Messenger, really. He acts like he hates me. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have lived with him, but since then I've done yoga almost every day. I meditate. I write in my journal. I listen to these positivity tapes. So every day I do meditation, and I wake up and I think I'm grateful for the day. I think where I could be. I think who I could be. And I feel better. Everything's better. My mom, even, I told her what I was going through, and she said, I'm glad you got out alive. And I've never heard her say anything so seriously without adding a snarky comment or a joke. So for me, that was huge. She was really serious, happy that I was still alive.